Okay, so it's been 2 years since I've started my investing journey. I've made successes and I've made lots of failures as well. But I thought I'd articulate some of the thoughts and experiences that I've gone through myself. Um, so if you do watch this video, very much don't copy what I've done. This is not investment advice whatsoever. It's very much for my own kind of like purposes, entertainment, reflection, to articulate my thoughts. And then when I do look back, I can reflect on it in the future and see where I'd go and continue like self-development. So when I started, it was the beginning of COVID. Well, it was the middle of the first year of COVID. I started with these 4 buys because I thought they were cheap. So my initial thinking was buy things that are cheap. I've since obviously learned that logic doesn't necessarily work in the long term when it comes to equities. So you kind of have to take into a lot more factors into play. So now, even though I look at these positions, the original ones, even though the vaccine had been developed and all these equities bounced back really well, in hindsight, I made a mistake with Rolls-Royce and I made a mistake with Wetherspoons. I probably didn't with Shell and BP. I think they were very good choices based on how cheap they were trading and how historically profitable they had been and the margins of profit that they had made. So kind of in hindsight, I kind of got a bit lucky with some of these initial trades. So then I thought, oh, very much this is easy. But it's definitely not easy. So then you kind of have a bit of a learning experience that obviously we're going through an inflationary decade. There are a lot of things to take into account when you do look what maybe challenges are ahead with a tightening cycle, discretionary spending dropping from the consumer. You got a lot of things to think about. So as I did start learning, and I learned the fact that it's not just about how cheap a company is, doesn't define whether the success of the equity in the end. But I did lots of research, listened to lots of opinions, and these 2 books I found found these 2 books to be very helpful in a lot of ways. So if you are your own investing journey and you want to learn maybe sort of thing from a historical point of view, the red one, The Intelligent Investor, that one I got recommended based on what I'd seen in interviews with Warren Buffett had said. And that's very, very good. It does kind of explain, like from a historical point of view, the behaviors of the market, how sometimes it can be irrational, exuberant, and it basically gives a good fundamentals are based on understanding a balance sheet or a company based on value. So that is very good. What to look for, what not to look for. I found that as a good framework if you wanted to maybe look at like evaluation as a valuation investor. And then the other one, I saw lots of interviews from Ray Dalio. I found this book very, very good as well to explain some of the stuff in the 20th century of like anything to do with macro sort of thing. So yeah, definitely read these 2 if you do get a chance, if you are interested in the topic. So, and then moved on to now is 2022 and beginning of 2023. These are the kind of positions that I am holding now. And if you look at, I'm probably in hindsight, I very much bought a lot of Intel and gradually have been buying as it was declining through the back end of 2022. So if you look at the position at the moment, it is down by around 10%. But I was very much optimistic about the long-term future of the company. So I was thinking I wanted to buy something in dollars because very much I thought it is a good diversifier to keep away from the pound. But then a lot of the American equities were very expensive, such as the major companies. So this was the first big American company I could find that I thought was really, really, really reasonably undervalued. So I started buying aggressively when it did start declining. So if you look at the other positions I do hold, so I hold a bank, UK's largest bank by mortgage book value in the UK, rising interest rates will benefit that in its cash flows in the long term. So I do think that was a decent choice. And if you look at all the multiples, it was pretty cheap when I was buying it. And then if you look at the other two, as obviously interest rates are increasing, bond values are decreasing. So the risk-free rate is getting better and better as time goes on. So I thought I will gradually increase my exposure towards long-dated bonds. And this is probably what I'll do gradually with the dividends and cash extra bits I'm receiving from my other positions throughout the beginning of 2023. Because if you can get a 4% yield, risk-free, I know it doesn't quite compete with inflation, you are losing purchasing power, but in this kind of environment at the moment, it does beat the nominal rate on, for instance, if I was to keep the cash in cash, or very much like my mortgage rate, for instance, to overpay the mortgage. So I think this probably be my thoughts and things in 2023 at the moment. So if you look maybe at the dividends I've received, and this is where I'm at. So I gradually increased my cash exposure in my account to 10,000 worth of buying power. I said that'll be my limit, and I'll see what I can do with £10,000 and see how long it takes me to double that into £20,000. And that was originally my challenge I set to myself, my goal. And this is very much how we are done at the moment. So we're just under 4,000 is in from buying and selling in 2 years, which I'm quite happy with. And we had received just under £1,000 in dividends. So it's been a good journey so far. I'll probably make one of these videos in the future. See how I'm getting on to my task of getting up there to 20,000. So I hope you did enjoy. And so remember, this isn't financial advice at all. So please do your own research if you do purchase any equities, or don't just buy something because I bought it. Do seek an independent financial advisor if you do decide that you are to maybe get advice. But if you do find this stuff entertaining or interesting, I thought I'd share my own journey so far. I hope you do enjoy.